Okay, first off, we did not deflate our balls. The Pats would have won that game even if the ball was covered in Vaseline. So we did not deflate our balls, and we don't ever deflate our balls, bottom line. I'd like to start off by talking about food because I'm very passionate about food. I love to eat. I love to cook. I'm not a great cook, but I do love to cook, and I love to cook healthy. My friend Mary was just over, and I made this amazing stuffing with quinoa. I sauteed some garlic, I sauteed peppers, mushrooms, onions, and then added the quinoa with some chicken broth, let all of that kind of, all the water evaporate and go into the quinoa, and then I added walnuts and a little bit of cornbread to give it some crunch and some other flavors. And I mean, so healthy and so good. My kids loved it. It tasted kind of like, I served it with a cranberry sauce, and we had a roast chicken. And it's healthy. My thing about food is that as long as it's food, it's okay to eat it. We shouldn't be, why is most of our diet flour? Why is most of our diet, hydrogenated oils and things that really aren't food-based? That's my problem with food. Bottom line, my mom said, you are what you eat. I couldn't agree with her more. I never really understood that, but the reality of it is that when our bodies are regenerating, when our cells are regenerating themselves, we're only getting that from the food that we eat. So we are, in fact, what we eat. So if you're putting crap into your system, expect to feel crappy. If you're putting crap into your body, expect to, to run like, a bad car runs on bad gasoline, you know what I mean? So anyway, I get a little bit kind of, I did like Katie Couric's documentary on that, Fed Up. I agreed with a lot of it, and I think that, it astounds me when intelligent people who you think know better than to feed their kids French fries and chicken fingers and pasta all day long, you really want to believe that they don't, they know better, but they don't. It is astonishing to me. So anyway, if people really just kind of took seriously the fact that food should come from food and it shouldn't be as processed, I think we would be so much better off. And and then of course taking a look at how is our agriculture working in our country. Did you know that less than 3% of our country actually represents who gives us our food? I mean, that's our agricultural society in America, less than 3%. That number has gone down so dramatically in the past 50 years, which means we don't know where our food comes from, and we don't really monitor where our food comes from. I want to move on to a couple other topics too. I think that we spend so much time rushing, and the iPhone and technology has just made everything so much more, it's enhanced that. So we don't slow down for anything. One of the things that I've done to incorporate making myself slow down is I make myself create or make a proper pot of tea. My grandmother used to warm the pot of tea because of conduction. The heat would go into the pot rather than keep your tea hot. So she would actually warm the pot of tea, pour out that water, and then reboil the water for the tea, and add that add loose leaf tea, not plunking the old tea bag into the cup and calling that your tea, and you're done with it. No, slow down, make a nice proper pot of tea, and sit down and drink it. Don't put it in a to-go mug. Europeans years ago, they used to be like, to go? Why would you have your coffee to go? Why would you have your tea to go? That's just, that's not the experience. They were more into the experience of actually drinking the tea, drinking the coffee, drinking the cappuccino. it's so much more beneficial for our bodies, for our spirits really, to have a seat and sit down and drink. One of the things that I've incorporated in my family, no technology at the table. They're not allowed to have their iPads, they're not allowed to have their iPhones. And it was originally, it was a hard rule to apply, and it was a hard one actually for me not to break, but now everyone just knows it. The only one who breaks it sometimes is my husband, and he gets a big ass whooping for that. But, just kidding. But I have learned that I can't battle it all the time, so I've said meal times, breakfast, you know, if they're here and we're having tea or we're having lunch, and dinner, no technology. The rest of the time, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. You know, they have homework the rest, they've got sports, all that kind of stuff. Enough about that. Let's move on to the movies. I saw The Judge and I saw The Theory of Everything, most recently. Now, The Judge I loved. How can you not love Robert Downey Jr., Robert Duvall? They're amazing. The only problem I had with that movie was that it was such a missed opportunity for the writer to allow Robert Downey Jr. to change. Because instead of seeing his father for who he was and then trying to be different and saying, I don't have to be like that, I can break the mold, I can break the chain, he ended up being pretty much like his dad by ultimately not forgiving his wife for her infidelity and going with the girlfriend. Now, I can see him having a fling with the girlfriend, and that was fun for the movie, but he made the ultimatum and he said basically, you know, just like his dad, can't forgive when somebody's made a mistake, that's how I am, and that's you know, it's my way or the highway. I would have been so much more satisfied with that film if he'd have gone back to his wife. Okay, now on to The Theory of Everything. Amazing, amazing story. Heartbreaking because I felt like I knew that, and you know, that Stephen Hawking loved his wife so much that he was willing to let her go. And that was heartbreaking to me because he saw that she was in love with Jonathan, the aide who came, and the guy from her church. He saw that she was in love with him, but she wouldn't allow herself to act on it. And Stephen Hawking could see it, and I believe that the only way that he knew that she would let him go is if he did it the way he did it, which was by allowing another woman into his life. It's heartbreaking and it's amazing. You should go see it. I think that's all we have time for. I have